Hello. Wanted to have a conversation today on this rainy day of a quote from a movie, but it happens to correlate exactly to how I feel about people that doubt the existence of God. Now, if you watched, a video or you've heard a preacher speak, you usually will see, one or two people show up and say, that God doesn't exist in various ways. And to that, I say the absence of evidence. I'm sorry. Let me say that again. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. What that means is that although you may not see God's works and the things that have been done, the evidence is there. You just really aren't looking. So you are creating an absence of evidence. Let me go ahead and give you a little bit more information. We're going to tie, science to what science has found in later years to what the Bible said from the very beginning. Now, I do apologize. I am not a scholar. I am not a theologian, and I am not a preacher. I am just simply a regular old dude who happens to trust in the faith, who happens to believe in the Word of God, and has never steered me wrong. So let's start at the top. Science has proven that trauma can bridge generations through your DNA. They tested lab rats, and I know what you're saying. Lab rats are not humans and things like that, but lab rats are life, right? We both can agree to that. They tested lab rats, and they found that lab rats actually carry the trauma from one generation to the next generation. If you put a lab rat in a cage, and if you put food in front of that lab rat and you shock that lab rat each and every time before they start to go to get the food, that lab rat will eventually be weary of the food. And if that lab rat has children, the offspring will also, without being around the other rat, being separated in different cages, and in actuality being separated in different laboratories, that lab rat will grow up to be weary of that food because of the things that happened to its ancestor, to its mother or its father or whomever. Science has actually proven that, and God has talked about generational curses through the Bible, has made it absolutely aware that the sins of the father do carry on to the child. That if you are, God has talked about blood ties. There have been many conversations in the Bible about making moves for yourself that affect your generations and your family. Matter of fact, that's why family is supposed to cull, or not even cull, because I think cull can sometimes mean, get rid of, but they're supposed to herd the black sheep. They're supposed to get that black sheep in order, because what that generation does carries on to the next. Let's also have a conversation about speaking something into existence. Now, each and every person that is a doubter of God will say that they're a believer, or not even a believer, but that they trust psychology. And psychology has often spoke about how you can reaffirm something by stating something to yourself verbally. If you state something to yourself verbally and you do that enough, you actually are programming your mind in order to do that very thing. So be careful with the things that you affirm to yourself. You know what God has actually talked about in the Bible? Speaking things into existence. Long before there was ever a psychiatrist or the profession of psychology, God spoke about talking things into existence and making it true. So those are just two of many examples of how God has actually given us the word through the Bible to tell you what exactly science has come to find. See, prior to the invention or the thought of therapy, there was an absence of evidence of speaking something into existence. But therapy now tells you that's true. Prior to them testing those lab rats, there was an absence of evidence that trauma can be sent through generations and touch the children who haven't even known that trauma. The Bible taught us that was true prior, way before a scientist put on a lab coat. So when I say that I am a firm believer in the Word of God, because I don't sit here and say that there's an absence of evidence, is because I know that just because there's an absence of evidence doesn't mean there's an evidence of absence. Stay true to yourself. Be true to yourself. Do the right thing for the right reasons. Be a good person and know that somebody loves you.